not only that, I wanted to also share that everything that I've acquired throughout my life, I've manifested. So, for example, let's talk about my very first house that I bought when I was 25 years old. I knew that um, I wanted to buy a house early on. Like, I always knew I wanted a big family, so I'll start there. I always knew I wanted a big family, a house. I wanted the typical American dream, so to speak. And I manifested that. But let's backtrack to when I was 25. So I knew I wanted to buy a house. I didn't want to keep renting because the more you rent, the more you put out, and you don't receive anything back. And it's not to say that you don't get more with home buying. However, um, there are pros and cons with owning a house. And so there were two houses that I was really, really interested in. And when I first saw the first house, I was like, that's the house. That's my house. And right, so two houses. And the one house, I was like, that's my house. Claimed it right then and there once I saw it. I didn't see what it looked like. I take that back. Because, of course, you got to go through the photos and see what it looks like. And when I went to actually go look at the house, guess what? It was already under contract. And so I was devastated. And granted, it was a little town home, maybe 25 square footage, but we had a small family at the time. And honestly, back then, like as a child, I always knew I wanted a big family. However, there's so many missing pieces here. However, um, that's when we talk about adult ADHD. But so yeah, so I was devastated once I found out the house was under contract. Um, Went through 20 more houses, if not more. Didn't find another one. Well, we did find one. I was like, it'll do, but it wasn't my first choice. And so something told me, you know what, go back to that house you originally looked at. And I told my realtor, I said, let's check this house out. It looks like it's back on the market. And it sure enough was. And I had already known, like, I had claimed this house. God saw that this house was for me, and it was. And we settled, another thing, because my angels are always watching over me. We settled on 11/12/13. I always remember that date. Even this house that I'm currently in, we've been in here almost 3 years since my very first house, and we were in our very first house for 8 years until we moved into this house. So manifestation is real, y'all. Let me just end this note on that. It's real.